Super trooper, things are gonna blind me, but I won't feel blue like I always do. 'Cause somewhere in the crowd there's you.
So, hello and welcome to our podcast called Wild Berries Fort. Joining us today is Dr. Liz Gay and Mike Greenleaf. Dr. Liz Gay is an distinguished individual and professor of zoology and wildlife animal biology at the University of Oxford. They have a bachelor's degree from UPenn in biology and PhD in environmental science and engineering from Harvard. Dr. Gay has garnered recognition including the prestigious Caesars Clubbers Award for Excellence in Applied Wildlife Research. Her 2 decades of experience, notably in Ghana around the Dako River, reflects a profound commitment to studying and rescuing animals in their natural habitats. Welcome, Dr. Liz Gay.
Hello.
And our second person is Mike Greenleaf, a dedicated savanna flora specialist. Mike's passionate with gaslands began in childhood and evolved into a formal education in botany at University of Cape Town. Armed with a deep passion for understanding plant adaptation, he embarked on extensive field research in diverse savannas regions. Mike's commitment to preserving these ecosystems has not only shaped him into a seasoned researcher, but also a recognized advocate for savanna conservation. Welcome, Mike Greenleaf.
It's my pleasure. Hello.
Well, there was a delay, but let's get straight on. So, my first question is for Dr. Gay. Are you related to Claudine Gay?
No, I'm not. In fact, if I was, I would be ashamed of myself, so no.
Okay, let's get straight on. Can you provide a brief definition of what a savanna is and what it distinguishes from other ecosystems?
Well, before I answer that question, I'd also like to add that I have won Goldman Environmental Prize and I host the show Savanna Wonders, a Greenleaf expedition, National Geographic Channel every Sunday, 8 p.m. But to answer your question, absolutely. A savanna is a fascinating type of a biome, and it's characterized by a mix of grasslands and scattered trees or shrubs. I had the chance myself to explore an African savanna 5 years ago during an expedition, and it's like entering a vast open landscape with a sea of grass covering the ground, and trees stand tall but are spread out across the horizon. And this unique combination of grasses and dispersed trees distinguishes it from other places. It's not a dense forest, but also not just a plain field. The balance between grassland opens and tree presence creates a visually striking and also ecologically diverse environment.
Okay, thank you for your answer and your self-advertisement. And let's get to the second question. How do the unique climate conditions of savannas contribute to the diversity of plant and animal life in these regions?
Well, as with animal life, the unique climatic conditions of savannas, marked by a prolonged dry season and a distinct wet season, foster biodiversity. This cycle encourages various animal species to adapt to both extremes, leading to a wide variety of life forms.
Mr. Greenleaf, would you like to add something to it?
Yeah, I would like to add that my experience in the African savanna highlighted how these conditions impact the plant life. Because during the dry periods, I noticed that certain plants had amazing adaptation, and some developed really long roots to find water deep underground, while others had leaves that could handle those droughts.
And could you share some examples of iconic fauna that thrive in savannas and their adaptations to this specific environment?
Sure, some animals include lions, elephants, giraffes, zebras, and wild beasts are iconic in savannas. Some of their adaptations might include animals often have physiological and behavioral adaptations such as migration, water storage mechanisms, and specialized feeding habits to cope with the seasonal variations in water and food availability.
Okay, and in terms of flora, what are some dominant plant species in savannas, and how do they contribute to the overall ecosystem's dynamics?
Well, that's a great question. During my exploration, I observed an abundance of grasses like Rhodes grass and star grass blanketing the ground, and trees such as acacias or baobabs scattered across the savanna landscape. These plants have evolved fascinating ways to cope with the challenging environment. For instance, they might have thick bark to protect against fires, or modified leaves that can conserve water during dry spells. But their role doesn't stop at surviving. They serve as pillars supporting the entire ecosystem, and these dominant plants provide shelter, food, and homes for countless animals, shaping the entire dynamics of the savanna.
Thank you. Let's get back
If
to
I
the
can, if I
animals.
can, I would like to just add to that that there is a great level of cooperation and symbiosis between between animals and plants, in fact, in savanna. For example, a
Hmm.
lot of animals, they live on the baobabs, right? They help them, the baobabs, they help them be safe. They act as a kind of a home to them.
Exactly. Yes.
Thank you. And let's get back to the animals. How do the herbivores and carnivores coexist in the savanna ecosystem? And what role does the balance of predator-prey relationship play?
Well, herbivores graze on abundant grasses. Carnivores rely on herbivores to maintain a balance in the ecosystem, which is very, very important. Predator predator prey relationships regulate population sizes, preventing overgrazing and ensuring ecosystem health.
So are there any keystone species in savannas that have a significant impact on shaping the landscape or influencing another species?
Well, thank you for that question, because there actually are. For example, elephants can be considered keystone species, and having seen them myself, they are really magnificent. I just love the way elephants look. But getting back to the question, their feeding and movement patterns shape landscapes, create water holes, and influence the distribution of other species. So it also has an impact on plants, not just animals.
So would you like to add to that, Mr. Greenleaf?
If we focus on flora, the larger plants, especially the trees and grasses, are like the leaders in the savanna. They're the ones that give homes and food, as I mentioned, to a lot of the animals. And during my expedition in Africa, I realized just how essential they are. These majestic plants are like the VIPs of the savanna because they influence almost everything around them. They provide shelter and food, acting as key components in their habitats. Moreover, their presence significantly shapes the entire landscape, creating a lot of different habitats all around, which support a variety of life forms, making them truly keystone species within this ecosystem.
And can you discuss the seasonal changes in a savanna and how these fluctuations affect both the plant and animal life? Let's start with Dr. Gay.
Yes, well, as I already told you, there are two seasons in the savanna. There is the wet season, in which we can see a great abundance of food, we can see reproduction and growth of the animals. However, in the dry season, which is more predominant, uh, there is a lot of migration. The animals have to cope with problems such as scarcity of water, so they have to adapt to that, such as through the strategy of estivation, right? And yeah, that's basically it.
Yes, and could you add something, Mr. Greenleaf?
Yeah, I will talk about the plants because I'm the expert here. As Dr. Gay already mentioned, seasonal changes profoundly impact uh, life of both plants and animals in savanna. And during the dry season, which can be quite lengthy, plants face lack of water. That's the main problem. And to cope, many plants have evolved remarkable adaptations. Some shed their leaves or become asleep, conserving water to survive the dry conditions. And grasses might turn brown and appear lifeless, while trees might have fewer leaves or even lose them entirely. So, when the wet season arrives, it's a game changer for the plants. Rainfall refreshes the savanna, triggering rapid growth and renewal. Plants quickly respond by growing new leaves, shoots, and flowers, and grasses flourish, painting the landscape green once again, which is really beautiful. And this burst of growth is essential for the survival of the plant community, and the renewed vegetation not only restores the savanna's beauty, but also provides food and shelter for a range of animals, as was mentioned already.
Okay, thank you. And what conservations challenges do savannas face, and how can we work towards preserving the unique biodiversity found in these ecosystems?
Savannas face threats like habitat loss due to farming or cities growing, and protecting these areas helps save plants. Also, being careful with farming methods and creating protected zones can safeguard their diverse plant life.
Okay, I understand that, but what I would really like to know is how do fire regimes impact savannas and what role do they play in maintaining the balance between different species?
In savannas, fires happen regularly and they can affect the plants and the variety of plants there. Some plants in savannas actually need fires to grow, while others survive even if there's a fire. And these fires help decide which plants grow and make space for different kind of plants. So in a way, fires do keep the savanna diverse with lots of different plants growing together.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would just like to add that it's basically the same way with the animals.
Once again, thank you. And my last question is, are there any ongoing research projects or discoveries related to savannas that you find particularly intriguing or promising for our understanding of these ecosystems?
Yes, there are research projects examining animal migration patterns and the impact of human activities on savannas. We have discoveries in these areas that contribute to a deeper understanding of savanna ecosystems and aid in conservation strategies. So that is something we have to fund. We have to help fund it. And that's why I would once more like to mention the website ilovedonnaberesford.com, which helps to preserve savannas in their current state.
Thank you. And from the flora side, is there anything interesting?
Scientists study how plants adapt to dry times of the fires, which we've talked about, and they're discovering how plants help each other survive and how to protect them better. This research gives hope for understanding savannas and protecting their unique plant life, which is lovely. And my expeditions also involve studying plants in savannas, but also different ecosystems and how plants survive in diverse environments. I've been fortunate to explore places like savannas, but also rainforests and deserts. And as for the next adventure, I'm actually planning to head out to another savanna in about a year or so. I'm flying to Kenya.
West?
Wonderful.
Oh,
No, it's Kenya. It's not Kanye.
okay, okay. Um, I would just like to add one of my personal experiences, which is I was in Ghana and one crocodile told me s- told me I told him goodbye and he answered in a while, crocodile.
Okay, we are not
But
gonna put this in.
as
Let's
a
let's make
fauna
it.
expert, you should know that there are no crocodiles in fauna in savannah.
Are you the fauna expert? No,
No
because I am.
crocodiles.
Okay,
So
guys.
shut
No
the
cro-
hell up.
I
crocodiles in
mean,
savannah.
sorry.
You have a
Okay,
picture of
people.
lion over there. There are no crocodiles. Come on.
What?
Okay, people.
What do
We
you
will
mean?
end
I am
this
the expert.
podcast.
I am the expert.
I'm the
Do you
plant
And
know
expert.
anything?
thank you for coming
I
You
to this
should know.
video.
I
am the
was a
Thank you for
plant
national
listening.
geographic
expert.
and I know that a
And
crocodile
I'm the
doesn't live in
founder
goodbye.
savannah.
of
Wildberries
Floating
out.
Gate. Yeah, I would just tell you that animals, they would actually appreciate this. And if you want to help them, just send $1 to the website ilovemissberesford.com. You can donate to our
Yeah,
charity, which helps save the environment and especially the savannas. And the
and
name of
also
the
not
website
only
is actually,
animals, but also
sorry?
plants. It will help for plants as well.